Hello, everyone out there on the interwebs. My name is Jon-Eric, your Verbling teacher from New York City, hanging out today from Lisbon, Portugal, with 3 quick rules to help you in my class. Turn off, tune in, and open up. Let's see what they mean. Let's see if I can get my presentation to work. Oh no. Give me a second here. Let's get to there we go. So, rule number 1 is please turn off your microphone and keep it off until you speak, but then turn it back on when you speak, but then turn it off when you're done speaking. I hope you're able to follow this. Rule number 2 is tune in to the new words. Try to use them as actively as possible, because this is your chance to experiment and play around. And rule number 3 is open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. Remember, this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English, so be as open as possible and everyone will extend you the same respect. By the way, if you want to get in touch with me, on the last page of this presentation, you can follow me on Verbling by going to my profile page and clicking Follow Teacher, or you can like me on Facebook, see me on YouTube, join me on Google+, read a tweet, or even schedule a private class. Just click on those links and you will find me. So that's a bit about me. Let's see who's here today. Oh, look, we've got Hazel.
Hello.
And Goliath, you're in class. Nice to see you. Glad you're not shy. And Mr. Alpha Pilot as well. Hi, everyone.
Hello, hello.
And who is, and is this, okay. And who is Hirastal? Hirastal, are you coming in? Or is that Alpha Pilot with a different name? Yes, it's Alpha Pilot. Okay, that's what I thought. All right, everyone. So listen, as we've got some people coming in and some viewers, a quick hello to Selma, who's just joining us right now. Hello, Selma. Hi there. Hi, Selma. Turn on your microphone.
Hello,
say hello. Hello. Selma, remember, you're the teacher. I'm the student. You're the teacher. I learned more from you than you could possibly learn from me. I'm pretty sure about that. Okay, so listen, everyone. As we got some people coming in, I'm going to play this short video. So accept the YouTube app when it opens. I'm opening it right now. Okay, and for all you people out there in the internet land, like Tanya, thanks, Tanya. I worked hard. I'll have to talk to my designer about the presentation. There is, oh geez, can you see that in the Verbling chat window? I just put in the link to the video, and there it is in the Google chat, but I don't know if it appeared or not. Can everyone see my link in the Verbling? There we go. Okay, now you can see it. Let's delete the second one. Okay, so let's start with this video. I'm not going to say anything else. I just want you to watch and give me your opinion about the situation and tell me if you remember this. It wasn't that long ago. Are you ready? Ready!
Yes.
Ready! And for you 42 people out there watching, there's plenty of space in class. Just come on in. Right, Hazel? We've got room for more people.
Right. Are there 42 indeed?
Now there's 45. It just went up. Now
45?
there's 46. It keeps going up.
Okay.
You 46 people out there, we'd love to. 47. Hey, if we get to 30, I win a cookie. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start my video. Can everyone see the video that I'm playing right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Goliath, can you see it too? Just write in the chat window if you can't speak.
Yeah, I can speak.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm just tired a bit.
All right, no problem. Okay, so I'm going to play the video, and for you people out there, I put the link in the VerbLink chat window and in the Google chat if you want to follow along. Here we go. It's about 3 minutes long. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. You get the idea.
Yeah.
Does anyone remember when this happened by any chance? I remember pretty well.
Never seen this before. It's
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
First time I heard they will privatize the
Privatization?
private. No, the verb. What is it?
To privatize?
To privatize the water. That's awful.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look, the reason why I'm showing the video is because this, maybe I'm wrong, but for me, this marked a very important moment. Kind of for me, this is like the real, remember Y2K, when the millennium, we're supposed to have some horrible thing happen in the millennium in the year 2000. Well, the year before, there was an interesting set of events, and the first, I guess, was this, and then it kind of spread, and there was a big event in Seattle in 1999, which kind of marked this new age of protest, and then we could almost trace that all the way to the Arab Spring, because it just seemed to escalate more and more, and then of course with all of the invasions and the Middle East problems and American, we all know what happened. So I'm pointing this out because I remember this very well, because then there was something very similar in the States, and so I was just curious if other people in other parts of the world remember these protests and remember how it ended. So anyway, let's get started a little bit of this. By the way, have you heard of, does anyone speak Spanish better than me? I'll take that as a no.
No.
So the name of the city, I think, is it Cochabamba? Am I saying that right?
Ida should be here.
Ida has other things to do, unfortunately. So you haven't heard of the protest. You saw. Well, let me start with this. What's your reaction to the video? Let's just start in general.
I was angry.
Yeah, me too.
So Bolivia has enough problem to trigger another one.
Well, remember, this is in
simple as water control and water.
Sure. Remember, this was in the 90s. So the film you're watching is an activist film called The Corporation, which was made in 2003, I think. Not sure. But it's a situation that I think escalated from the late 90s on. But things changed. So what were you angry about specifically?
Me, or are you asking the...
I'm asking everyone, but you can start.
Well, as they have an income, maybe $4 a day, they have to pay $2 for the water.
Something like that, yes.
Isn't that
$2
enough?
is their income, and they have to pay a quota, I
Half.
understand.
The half, yeah.
Or a quota.
I thought it was the half. They said that the half, $2, the half of their income. I don't know if I'm mistaken.
Right, right. And why did this situation begin? What set it off? Do you remember in the very beginning of the video, they were talking about how this ended up happening?
I think the state had a loan to pay to some international financial institution, and this institution encouraged to privatize the water, and they sold to the Bechtel Corporation, I understand.
Right, right, right. So, have you heard of... I'm just going down right now on my list. If you look at the document that I shared with you, by the way, if you don't have it, I will also give you the link right now in the chat window. It's this one, and if you're in the Google chat, whoops, it is this one. So I'm going to go through a few questions I set up beforehand. On that note, you said, by the way, Hazel, you said they encourage them. Are you sure that they encourage them? Is that the right word?
Or forced them, I don't know.
I
Maybe
would
they forced them.
I think that they force them as a condition of the loan. And the financial institutions are there in question number 2. Could you read the second question for us, Hazel? Where it
Yes.
says warm up.
Have you heard of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund? Do you know what these organizations do?
Right. And what do we call the International Monetary Fund? What's the abbreviation in English?
IMF.
IMF. Because in other countries it's FME. That's why.
It's in French, FME.
FME. And
And in
Portuguese
Romanian,
as well.
FME.
Right. So, you know, just like you see here, UFO in English and OVNI and all these other languages, Latin languages especially, here FME is IMF in English.
Yes.
Okay. So, let's say hello also to Mariana, who just joined us right now. Hello, Mariana.
Mariana, hello.
Mariana, while you're getting your microphone on, I'm going to ask Selma, what do you know about the IMF, Selma?
Well, honestly, I have no information about the MFI,
IMF.
IMF.
Were you able to see the video, or was it difficult to see?
No, I didn't see the video because my internet was too slow. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay, so follow along. We're actually going to read about this in just a moment.
Jon-Eric,
Yes, Goliath.
I will amaze you about
Really?
this. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, lately they came to Algeria, my country, and they took a loan. Do you know that?
They've been to my country, well, the country where I live now, and taken out a huge loan. So
No.
I'm quite familiar with what they do in this part of the world. We're not so far away.
Yeah. They took from United States?
I'm in Portugal.
Oh, are you Portuguese?
No, I'm American, but
Okay.
I'm in Portugal. I could be in your country in about an hour if I wanted to.
Yes, it's an hour flight, yeah.
So tell me about it. Why would they do that? Because your country has some really good exports. Makes a lot of money.
Oil, yes, and you know the world crisis, financial crisis.
We sometimes call that the global financial crisis.
Yeah, it's global, and Libya wasn't enough to finance after they killed their president and they took control of oil. So they asked us gently to give them money, and we say yes. We don't want to have the NATO on our back, so we give them money. It's easy.
The term is to rock the boat.
Yeah.
Rock the boat in the chat window. We don't rock the boat. Keep things going smoothly.
Yeah, smooth without any fight. We don't.
So they asked Algeria to finance a loan.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And who was the loan to?
To FME, IFM.
IFM.
Yeah, they came lately, maybe 1 month, 2 months.
See, that's so strange because I know that I used to teach at the Portuguese, what used to be the national gas. It's gas and oil, but mostly gas company. Now it's privatized. And I know from working there that the gas comes from they have a big contract with Algeria, if I remember right.
Yes.
So it's very weird if you think about it. They asked you for money, and then they forced Portugal to take a loan, and part of that loan money is probably going to pay you that we borrowed the money from indirectly before it went to the IMF. Somehow I think there's a triangle there.
But
I'm not
but
sure.
I don't think it was a loan. It wasn't a loan. It's a loan in public, but it's not a loan. I don't think they will pay us back. So they took it like they forced us, but it was like you said, rock the boat.
Don't rock the boat.
Yeah.
Well, let's read a little bit about this, about Bolivia, and see how similar or different it is. By the way, I want to say a quick hello to Eveline Ramos. Hello, Eveline, because I saw you joined a bit late, but I didn't say hello to you. Are you there, Eveline? If you are, turn on your mic. Going once, going twice.
Sold.
Done. Okay. Eveline, when you get your mic on, say a quick hello, and Mariana, you too. What else was I going to ask? We're going to go back to our questions, but I want to read through this short text, and I want you to pay attention to the words in bold in particular. We're going to come back and see how to use those words, if they're new for you, at the end. Can everyone pick a paragraph and just read through this with me? Maybe, Goliath, you could start us off. These are really, really short paragraphs.
Okay. In recent years, private companies have taken over municipal water supplies in a number of poor countries. The World Bank and the International Monetary Fund are accused of forcing countries with large debt loads to allow this in exchange for loans.
Right. So, what does that mean in plain English? To allow what in exchange for what? Is that clear in that little paragraph?
You need the summary of this paragraph?
I'm just saying to say it in clearer words, in your own words. What's the exchange in this case? Because it says to allow this in exchange for a loan. What's the this? To allow what?
Don't
Take
understand
control.
that. Yeah? That loads and to exchange for loans. To allow loans. Debts with loans. I think that and loans are the same, I thought.
Well, so first of all, what's the difference between how many words can you think of that mean debt? Let's start there, just so that we can see if there's a difference between them. We've got debt. What else?
Own.
Loan. Okay. What else?
And when you owe something, it's a loan.
When
or
you,
it's a debt.
it's a debt when you
It's
owe
a
it.
debt.
Uh-huh. If you
Borrow.
you can borrow, and if the person or
Lend.
lend, right?
Yes.
Okay. A bank. What does a bank lend to you besides a loan?
Credit.
Loan, yeah.
Credit. I heard credit.
Credit,
Okay.
yes.
So we got different words for the same thing. So borrow is when I'm
Taking.
right, and when I'm giving, it's
It's it's
Lend.
loan?
lending.
Lending or loan.
So lending is giving. Loaning is also giving. Lending and loaning. But borrowing is receiving or taking. Okay, what's the difference between these things? It really just depends on what the context is. Here they say debt load. Now that's not loan or lend. That's something else. To show you that,
Quantity load.
yeah, that it's a heavy debt.
Mm-hmm.
And they're allowed to do this in exchange. What was I saying? Well, for accused of forcing.
Taking control water supplies.
Exactly. So they're allowed to put, the thing they're allowed to do is to create what we might think of as extreme conditions in order to give that massive loan. At least that's what happened here. Okay, just want to make sure that was clear. And you've got a bunch of good words for debt. So debt, credit, lend, loan, borrow. And then this load, meaning a massive debt or a high amount. Okay, so let's just go around the room. Who's next? Hazel?
Yes. In late 1999, a company called Aguas del Tunaria, owned by Bechtel, an American multinational corporation, was given a 40-year contract to increase the water supplies and services of Cochabamba, Bolivia, a city of 600,000.
600,000. Okay. 40-year contract. What do you think about that? I wonder if that's a typical contract. Seems kind of long, don't you think?
Long term, yeah.
Seems
Yes.
a bit long. But interesting. There's a correlation here to something in the United States that's happening right now. It reminds me of what happened before what they're doing now, which is trying to reform educational loans. But I'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so if everything's clear so far, let's keep on going with Mariana. Can you do the next one for us? Mariana going once, going twice. Okay, Selma, on to you.
Shortly after taking over in January 2000, the company raised water rates substantially. Many people had to choose between feeding their family and paying their water bill. To protest the increase, residents took part in a 4-day general strike, which shut down the city. La Coordinador, an organization of community activists and labor leaders, led the protest. The strike ended when the government agreed to cancel the rate increases.
There you go. So that's the part that we didn't actually see in the video. We didn't see how this ended. So was there a happy ending, Selma?
No, actually it was a riot. People
Oh.
were rebelling.
Okay, well later. but in the first wave, at least, something was effective, and I think ultimately
Yeah.
it was
Agreed.
effective.
Strike
cancel.
ended. The
The
strike
strike.
ended. Yeah.
Exactly. What is a strike? And
It's
Stop working.
as a
workers
protest.
are- Yes.
to stop working is a protest. And we have the word protest there. How many other words mean something similar or the same as protest?
Demonstrate.
unrest.
Unrest, not exactly the same as protest.
Demonstrate.
So demonstration, protest, demonstration.
Manifestation.
Manifestation, if you speak a Latin language, sure.
Again,
But
again.
in English,
Okay.
the problem with manifestation is that that's like a Catholic term, right? Like the Virgin Mary appears. It's a manifestation of the Virgin Mary. So we don't use it in that way. We
Do
would
something
say,
against.
To contest.
yeah, but I guess what I'm thinking of is protest implies people on the street typically, or people organized. So I think protest, demonstration,
And
are good.
riots.
Riots if it's violent. If it's not violent, we could say maybe people are going to rally in a public place. It's one I've used before. That means to gather, to rally. To march. If they're going to demonstrate, they'll probably be marching across town, right? Or a march on the Capitol. They'll go across the lawn in Washington, D.C. or something like that. So all of those basically mean the same as protests in the sense of people congregating in a place to send the message they want to send. Make sense? More or less clear?
Crystal.
Crystal! Wow. Okay. So let's see if anyone else is going to read for us. And we seem like we're losing some people and gaining others. Mariana, do you have your mic on now?
Can you hear me?
Ah,
Can
there you go.
hear me?
Can you do number 4 for us?
By mid-February, the government had not lived up to the agreement. A peaceful protest march was organized, but riot police used tear gas to stop the marches, many of whom were injured. The people did not give up, though. In March, activists demanded that the government cancel the privatization contract and return the water system to public ownership. They also released the Cochabamba Declaration, which called for the protection of the water rights of people around the world.
Okay. So maybe there was a happy ending after all, but obviously something had to happen first. Well, let's just finish the last paragraph and then we'll talk about it. So I think we're back to, let's see if Evelyn has got her mic on. Evelyn, are you back with us? Evelyn going once, going twice. Sold to Goliath. Last paragraph for us, Goliath.
But by mid-February...
Oh, next one. Number 5.
Oh my God. I'm hungry. I was thinking about breaking the... When the government once again refused their demands, residents shut down the city on April 4th. Other Bolivians came to support them. The government arrested the leaders of the protest and stopped the media from reporting on it. Police attacked and injured many protests, and on April 8th, killed a young protester. On April 10th, however, the government backed down and agreed to all the protesters' demands.
Okay, and finally, the people of Cochabamba had won. They said no to the economics of globalization and gave hope to many others around the world. And at the I think, if not at the same time, then just a month later or something like that, a very similar situation happened in Seattle, which was kind of a changing point because that was kind of a predecessor to what would later happen in 2003 before the invasion of Iraq, not in Afghanistan, but in Iraq, where there was a mass protest, kind of the first in history, where there was a protest that big, global. So I think that it's not a coincidence that this happened in Bolivia and that there was something in the air and it affected the United States. It's not the first time, actually.
Please, can you remind me what year was this protest?
1999.
1919, okay.
And I would say that there were other things. So is anyone familiar more or less with this history? Because Bolivia made history in another way after these protests as well. Because I think this led to a big change in what might call the demographics of the power structure there. Does anyone remember what happened in Bolivia after that?
No, it wasn't in my continent, so
If I'm not
Might,
if I'm not mistaken, it was directly or indirectly, it was this that led to Evo Morales being elected in Bolivia. So, kind of the first indigenous person to hold that position, at least that I'm aware of. It was a big deal. Do you remember this, Evo Morales?
I remember the name, but don't know.
Yeah. So it was kind of a turning point. And then the politics of South America seemed to change. So it's an interesting moment to study. And that's why we're here. And to learn English. And to say hello to Mr. Mohammed, who's joining us a little bit late. Hello, Mr. Mohammed. Hello, Mohammed.
Hello.
Welcome. Nice.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I think you've got a dog because I hear someone or something barking in the background. Where are you from,
Yes,
Mohammed?
yes. I'm from Egypt.
You're from Egypt. Oh, this is a very topical discussion then. Not so different than what's going on in Egypt. If you need the link to we just read a little article and we're going to discuss it now. Okay, if you need the link, it's there in the chat window to your right side. Just click on that link and you can open it. That's what we just read.
Okay.
Okay. And Mohammed, I'm just going to mute you because I'm hearing a lot of dogs. But when you want to speak, you can turn your microphone back on. Okay? Because it's a little bit distracting with barking. Okay, so for everyone else, I put some words in bold, which I thought are relatively good keywords that you could use. So what I'd like you to do is just quickly tell me if you can find which word in bold matches the definition that I put under vocabulary. So this probably won't be that difficult for some of you, but so let's just go through them. Hazel, a legal agreement. What would you say?
a legal agreement. Just a moment, please.
You have to glance through the words in bold.
Contract.
Contract is a legal agreement. I couldn't agree more. Okay? So to do what is expected, Goliath, what do you think?
To do what is expected.
Which of those words in bold probably means to do what is expected?
Lived up to?
To live up to. Yeah, okay. I don't actually have the answers to these, so that sounds good to me. I probably do somewhere, but I don't have them in front of me. Let's see if I have the answers.
Maybe
I don't
bake
think I
down?
wrote-
I
Bake down.
hesitate.
Bake down
Bake
more.
down, maybe. This is do words.
Back down. To do what is expected sounds to back down. I don't know about that. I think I like live up to better. Well, let's see at the end.
No, it's
Okay, let's.
it's not maybe.
What about
Uh,
C, Selma? To take. What's this? To take by the
Charge
police?
crime, to arrest.
To arrest. To take by the police in charge of the crime. That's a weird definition, isn't it? It's when the police charge you with a crime. Oh, wait. It should be taken by the police and charged with a crime. Ah, that makes more sense.
Arrested.
To be
yes.
arrested. To be arrested. Okay, there you go. To take control. Evelyn, do you have your mic working now? Evelyn still doesn't have her mic working. Okay. Mohammed, what about you? Want to join us for this? So what about taking control? Which one of those bold words is closest to taking control? Are you with us, Mohammed?
He is not.
He is not.
He's gone.
He's gone? Oh, no.
Vanished.
All right, so I'll leave it up to the group.
Take over.
Take over.
To take over is to take control. Okay. A methods of communication. Oh, that's easy.
Yes.
Media.
Media, yes.
All right. What's media's methods? That's plural. So what's the singular?
Medium.
Medium. Okay, so when you say media, you say the media, you probably are going to say the media are, right? Because it's plural. Not the media is, like many native speakers often say. Don't make that mistake. Relating to a town or city. Well,
Municipal.
Resident?
Residents.
No, municipal.
Municipal, I think. I wonder if we have a better one for resident.
Residents, I think.
Well, maybe there's a better definition for resident. If you go down the list a bit. What do you think?
I don't see anyone.
People living in a particular place.
Right. People living in a particular place would be the residents. The area would be residential. So relating to a town or city, jurisdiction-wise, would be municipal.
Yes.
Okay, what about giving up?
Back down.
Back down.
Excellent. To back
So-
down is to give up.
So lived up, it was correct.
Sounded okay to me, to live up to
To
expectations.
do what it is expected, yeah.
To do what is expected.
Yes, to satisfy, indeed.
Yeah. Not expected meaning like the basics, but to live up to means that you have higher expectations. I can't live up to my father's image of success. Oh, why couldn't I be that good? I couldn't live up to it. That's my acting skills. What do you think? How about H, an amount of money owing? Should be
That
owed.
loads.
That's
That loads.
Yeah.
Loads.
Debt
Loans.
loads if it's a lot. Because the word in the text is loads.
Loads.
Stopping work as a means of protest, we know that. That's easy.
Yes.
Strike.
Right.
Strike. Noisy, uncontrolled behavior of a group.
Right.
Riot.
Noisy, uncontrolled, and violent, they should say. If it's not violent, it's not a riot. Demonstration to show disagreement. Did we say that one?
Protest.
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 Or
March.
march, or
Demonstration.
a demonstration, or a rally. A rally.
Mhm.
See.
When people come together, it's a rally of people. They gather. And we don't say what? Right, Goliath. Manifestation. We don't say that. Excellent. Excellent.
But I think Hazel has another definition to manifestation.
March.
No, she said something.
She said,
About
what did you say, Hazel?
What did I say? I don't know.
I don't remember. You don't
No.
know. You're getting old,
Oh, yes, indeed.
like me. Yeah. Okay.
Well, here I've got a few questions for you. So now you've seen a little bit about what happened in Bolivia, and I've talked a little bit about how that affected the rest of the world. At least from when I was, that age, I remember some kind of connection. But I've got some other questions for you in general because I'd like us to talk about how this affects you, what you think of it. So let's start with the general question. What do you think of the World Bank's decision to force a country to privatize their water supply in exchange for loans? That was the thing I was asking Goliath to clarify in the first paragraph. What was the exchange? They have to privatize in order to get the loan. That was the condition of the loan. So what do you think about that?
You need my opinion?
You or Alpha Pilot or Hazel or yeah.
Okay, let's. I will pass this time.
Okay. Or Mariana or Selma
Hazel.
or Evelyn.
I think it's not fair. Water is a resource for everybody on this earth. So I don't think it's fair to privatize.
Because it's a natural resource, you mean?
Yes.
That's interesting, Mariana. Let's look at another situation. Let's look at California. It's a good example.
Yeah. they got lots of water from Colorado River.
Yeah, exactly.
And And Arizona remain without water.
Exactly. California is a desert, and the only reason it has the second or third largest city in the United States is because they're taking water from Nevada, and they have to ship the water hundreds of miles, right? There's no natural way that people could inhabit the desert like they are, right? So that's a really good example. So it's not, I mean, is that a natural resource? Is water ever a natural resource? Really? We have to bring it to people. And isn't the argument that, listen, water doesn't appear magically in your bathtub or when you're trying to raise crops in the fields? It has to be brought there. Someone has to manage it. So is it really a natural resource? Maybe, Goliath, that picks up on what you were saying in the chat window earlier, that in the future water is not going to be what it is today.
No. Do you refer to what I was saying earlier?
Yeah, before we
the control of water.
Yeah.
I have example of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Egypt, it's the Nile or the Nile. What do you say?
Nile?
The Nile.
Well, in English we say Nile. I don't know what Muhammad would say, but he left.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
It's coming from Uganda and passing through Sudan and other countries, and they have problems now to control this. So they want to build the dams,
mm-hmm.
and this is it triggered a political crisis between those. So water is really vital for
Absolutely.
countries. And this is another kind of political, but this one with international company, it's new for me that they control. Sorry, this is phone ringing.
The thing that is shocking to me is that they considered rain part of what they could privatize. It seems completely unjustified. But what do you think about the argument that it's not really a natural resource because it's not like you have a well in your backyard. Everyone has their own private well. Someone has to, like in California, someone has to bring the natural resource in, use it to irrigate crops, use it for the city, right? Use it to grow food, use it for daily life, use it for industrial purposes. So is it really a natural resource? Because I think what Selma was saying is not fair, or Mariana was saying. I think, Mariana, you were saying it's not fair because it's a natural resource, but it's not being shared equally. I think that's what you were trying to get at. Am I right?
Yes. Yes. It should be shared equally.
I noticed a point here.
Yeah.
In the paragraph, what they said, they will increase the water supply. What that means, to increase the water supply, means they will have equipment and they will dig or they will construct dams. So I think there is a fair part in this contract.
It certainly seems like they're going to that they're going to provide a service. It certainly seems that way. Yes. It's not clear what they're going to do, and I don't know exactly what they did.
But I think if it's the case, this is the fault of the government. Why they don't make them? They invest or they make money to construct dams, or they have. I have the map of Bolivia. They have many lakes.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lake Lago Popo, Lago Uru Uru, I don't know. Yeah, they have many lakes. So
Lago Popo is my favorite of the Bolivian lake.
And La Paz is near another lake. Mm-hmm. So I don't think they have a water supply problem. Lago Titicaca.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge So I don't know why it's really. I don't know. It's really mean to
Privatize.
My God,
Privatize.
privatize this water supply.
Yeah.
The water.
So what could we do to make it to still provide the service, but make it less mean, as you said? This is for the whole group, by the way.
I believe, may
Go for it.
Okay. I believe the administration of the city should take care of this, and the work should be developed at the level they can afford. Because the private companies are going to create a very, very high standard, maybe, to supply water in different parts. They are going to build the pipes lines and lots of dams and lots of things. So, but this is going to raise the price, and some people cannot afford to have water at all.
Interesting. So it's not quite so straightforward. In other words,
so
they're providing a service. Sorry to interrupt you. They're providing a service, but the result of that, in other words, the service might be legitimate. But what you're saying is, if I understand correctly, the result of providing that service is that the population isn't going to be able to afford the service, basically.
Yes.
Yes.
So if the administration cannot provide that service, people still can have water and they can afford. Because probably they are going to carry water for a half of mile, like they do in Africa or other places, but they are still going to have water, and they are going to afford to use the sources of water. But if the water is going to be controlled by a certain company, and is going to be exchanged just for sums which are not, lots of people cannot afford, it's not fair.
So let me ask you a question on that point. How did the population react to what you're saying? What was their tactic? And do you think it was a good tactic?
I think it was good, because the water should remain to the municipality, under control of municipality.
So what did they gain? In a larger sense, we know that they got the government to back down, but what did they get back that they had lost in this deal originally? I guess that's the point I'm trying to say.
Pride.
Okay.
Cancel the privatization contract.
So they did cancel it. They had some pride. Why did they have pride, Goliath?
Well, if they control water, so they will control everything in Bolivia. It shows how deep the government is weak.
By the way, just one quick point. We swallow that syllable, so we would say government. We swallow the n in English.
Government
right.
is how weak and how is leaning. What's leaning? Is phrasal verb leaning up, or we're leaning?
Finish the sentence and I'll tell you.
Okay, to leaning against or in front of.
Leaning on them, like controlling them.
States, multinational.
Okay. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. You mean that the leaning on means like putting pressure on someone?
No. They are like bowing.
Bowing.
Yeah.
Bowing to the United States. Yeah.
Not to the multinational. International.
Absolutely.
What's funny?
That's a real term. To bow to the United States means to give in. It's another way to say it. Absolutely. So, correct.
Their own decisions, so always interfering. So maybe the protesters were of this, and they wanna.
And they what? Last point? They were aware of this and what? I think we lost Goliath. I lost the last word. Okay. All right. I couldn't hear what you said, Goliath, so when you come back. So basically, what could they do that they couldn't do before? For me, the answer would be negotiate. I mean, I think that's what the right that they won back. I have a few other questions I was going to ask you. Do you think that strikes are the right way, or were the right way to handle the situation? Is striking ever a bad idea?
Yes, I think that strike is a bad idea because it always leading to right to violence problems, especially when the police enter to end the march. And I think the only one who are going to take to be harmed in this protest is the citizens, because the government is not going to end up with solutions, especially when there is private companies. The government is doing always what is benefit for them, but they don't care about the citizens in general.
So how should they have handled it? So what you're saying is by striking,
well,
we have an expression in English, Selma, harm's way. To put themselves in harm's way, like this chat window. So by striking, they're putting themselves into harm's way. So what should they have done? What would be a more effective way than striking? Just out of, you don't have to answer, I'm just curious.
Protest, demonstrations?
Well, oh, you mean just doing protests but not refusing to work?
I think, in my opinion, both. They should be on strike because they taking part in strike, they obtain what they wanted.
It's true, but someone had, at least one person died as a result. Was it worth it?
I don't know.
Well, I think no one can. It would be unfair to sacrifice for government which not take care of your own rights, especially here in the case of water. If government are signing a contract with the private companies, just because they have some loads problems, without even asking the people, maybe distributing some questionnaire about their opinion, if they are with how are they going to solve the problem without going to such solutions like water yes,
privatization.
Privatization.
Well, let me ask you this: Do peaceful demonstrations always, or more often than not, end in riots and violence? Because you're saying that's really the problem. But
yes.
is that normal?
Sorry, what is the normal thing?
Let me ask you this: forget
Yes.
about what. Why do peaceful demonstrations turn into rioting? Maybe if we look at the reason why.
Because administration didn't hear people.
What did they hear?
They were just
Their
interested
demands.
They didn't hear people voice.
So okay, when you say they didn't hear the voice, you mean they weren't listening to the message?
Yes,
they weren't getting the message.
They didn't want to hear, and they were interested in their business and ignore the people's voice. and then they decide to go further from protest to strike. As I see the strike like a higher level of make the administration to hear them.
So you're saying when the protest doesn't work, the next step is to strike.
Yes.
It's interesting because you can't hold a protest in most cities without getting permission. You have to make a formal announcement. Although
in Bolivia, I don't know if it works the same way.
there have to be permits and things like that, which is always interesting because I know from experience in New York that there are certain people who hold protests a lot and they don't ask for any permission, but it's okay. And there are others who have to ask for a lot of permission and it's never okay. So, you know, all things are equal, but some are more equal than others, as they say. But anyway, there are typically rules. So it's interesting that the police have to be involved for the public safety when there's a protest. So that what's strange for me is that the only thing that would cause, in my opinion, that would cause a riot is if people were not following those rules and they went ahead because if they go ahead and don't follow those rules, they know what's coming. So that means that they were expecting it and they think it's worth it.
Sometimes in my country we faced this kind of problem, but it was the police who provoked
Provoked. Absolutely, yeah.
And in order to say, look at these people, they are not civilized, and they made them to burn and to.
That's like it reminds me of Tahrir Square as well, right? All of those people, all those thugs were sent in to incite violence 2 years ago. Was it like that?
Well, yes. Sometimes it's the fault of the protesters. Sometimes it's the fault of police and the army. Sometimes, so they turn it in purpose to violence.
I didn't mean it was the protesters. I just meant if you remember in Tahrir Square in Cairo when it started, all of these thugs were just sent in. I guess they were all Mubarak loyalists, and they just started to create violence anyway, just to unhinge the situation, because it was amazing to see that many people in a public place and all the cameras on them and all the social media.
Mm-hmm.
So is that happening where you are as well? Because I don't remember seeing a lot of protests from Algeria.
Yes, because it wasn't. They were focusing on Syria and they may be in other countries. It was a small protest in the south for jobless. It wasn't for the whole country, so it's just a part of the southern people, southern youth, young people.
Right.
Jobless, and they made a pacific gathering.
A peaceful gathering.
A peaceful gathering, and it was successful. But then it turned to riots, and I think our government provoked it in order to, let's say, to fail or to the first one. So to make a bad image.
Good word, Hazel. Discredit.
Discredit, yeah.
Excellent word.
Thanks,
Hazel.
Can you write it? We are learning here.
Hazel?
Okay.
Hazel, as I said, I'm not the teacher. You are. All of you. I'm just hanging out, trying to help.
Oh, thank you. This is a nice word.
Did you all follow the Occupy movement over the last 2 years as well in America? Were you watching that in the news? Or was it not broadcast where you were?
In America?
Yeah, not just in America, it was everywhere, but yeah, maybe more notable in America, in New York, in Chicago, in lots of places.
Yes. Then it's Turkey now, the turn of Turkey.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Although there's a big difference between Turkey and New York. In Occupy Wall Street, it seemed like there was what you were talking about, Goliath. There were small groups that were doing something to kind of discredit the whole movement. But it really, and that gave an excuse to go and invade the camp, or to go in and shut down like a bookstore that they had created. They had like a free bookstore, things like that. But it was really isolated incidents, and in the end, that's not really why they got evicted. In fact, they did get raided and finally shut down. But I think it's very different in Turkey because it's quite violent, isn't it? Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I was thinking about the time. It's over. I was wondering if you will say it's over.
Sure.
Yeah. I was worried about the time.
I'm just hanging out, talking with my friends. That's all.
Oh, okay.
But sure, yeah. Some of you have other classes to go to, so we can call it a day if you like. So I'm going to be teaching these kind of classes from now on Verbling, and I'm going to be working on courses to have the more involved classes, like the Talkaholic classes I was doing. So I'm going to try to keep them focused on one topic and kind of one lesson apiece, because I think it goes a little bit better. However, you can follow me on Verbling and give me feedback on Facebook or Google+, and you can request classes and do whatever you like. Contact me there. So we'll call it a day, because Goliath is tired. We better stop.
I'm hungry.
Tired and hungry.
Yeah.
And I'll be back tomorrow and the day after that at the same time with a new topic. Haven't picked it yet, but I'll post it as soon as I figure out what I'm doing. Okay? So have a good night, everyone. Oh, yep.
Just one comment. It's not intermediate. I think this level. It's it's advanced. I think.
Oh, it's advanced because you're here. Otherwise, it would be intermediate. That's why it changed. I tried to make it intermediate, but you're here, and now it's advanced. So there you go.
Thank you. Have a nice day or a nice evening, because you're in Portugal.
It's dark. Okay, everyone. See you next time.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
See you.
Bye-bye.